What's up, everybody? Schuyler Callihan here. It's another episode of Between the Ears. Yes, I know I missed Sunday's episode. I got to be honest. Didn't realize Father's Day was this past weekend. It kind of crept up on me a little bit there. So, obviously, had to spend some time with the daughter and the family. So, we're back in the saddle here. We're back to our normal schedule Tuesday, today, tomorrow, and then we'll be having our show on Sunday as well. And one of the things that I always like to do every June or every July, whatever the case may be, is kind of look at the landscape of the Big 12, and we start ranking things from coaches to fields to atmospheres to quarterbacks to receivers, defenses, offenses, whatever the case may be. And this week, I started things off with ranking the coaches in the Big 12, and I'll get to that here in just a second. But once again, if you haven't yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SR. If you happen to watch this on our site, please go over to our YouTube page, hit that like button, give us a subscription, and you'll be getting a notification every time an episode drops here. Again, every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, all the way through the end of football season. So before people start kicking, screaming, and calling me every name under the sun, I got to set some of the rules here for this ranking, because it's not probably the same type of order that you would probably see elsewhere. And no, I don't have Rich Rodriguez where he is in this list because I cover the Mountaineers. This entire list is based off a multitude of things. It's career history mainly, and what has your resume said? So, what type of wins have you had throughout your career? How long have you been a winner? How much have you proven that you can win at a high level? How many conference championships? The ability to recruit, the ability to develop talent. So I'm not going to anoint some of these younger coaches that have had early success in their tenures that top spot or so in this list. I'm afraid of the flash in the pan type thing, the one hit wonder type of thing. Although I don't believe some of these guys are. I'm just somebody that, hey, you got to prove it. You've got to have more than just one season behind you. You got to have more than a couple of years behind you to prove that you're a successful coach, that you're one of the better coaches in this league. So I'm going to spend a little time on each of these guys, but I'm going to kind of put them into little groups here so we can move along a little bit quicker. We'll talk more about the guys towards the top of the list here as we go. But so let's start 16 through 11. So I've got Brent Brennan at Arizona, Scott Frost at UCF, Cincinnati's Scott Satterfield, Dion Prime Sanders at 13. I got Coach McGuire down there at Texas Tech at number 12, Dave Aranda at number 11. So it's 16 through 11. And I know there's already some people saying, what the hell? Why is Joey McGuire in this bottom little tier here? Why is Dave Aranda in this bottom tier? Maybe even some folks saying, why Dion Prime Sanders? Again, for these three in particular, start with Coach Prime. One really rough year to start at Colorado, and then he bounced back, had a 9-1 year last year. Great season, but he had a really good quarterback in his son, in Shedeur, who he's going to have to replace. He's going to have to replace probably the most talented player in the country in Travis Hunter. We'll see. We'll see what Colorado looks like post Shedeur, post Travis Hunter. It's one season. When you put the two together, it's kind of okay. All right. We'll see what happens there. So I'm not ready, even though I believe Coach Prime will have Colorado above water for the most part. I'm a little hesitant to say that he's much higher than the 13th best head coach in this conference, based solely off of what he's done so far in the 2 years there in Boulder. So number 12, Joey McGuire. Look, Texas Tech has run through it with head coaches. They've turned them over as quick as anybody. Cliff Kingsbury kind of got a little bit of run there, but really ever since Mike Leach, they've been struggling to find that long-term option that gets them back in the national picture. And I think Joey McGuire's the guy. I really do. I think he's the right guy. He's got the connections in Texas because he was a former high school coach. Obviously, the guy can recruit. And early on, we've seen that Texas Tech can play much better with him at the helm. So It's still early. They haven't broken out just yet. And because of that, that's why I have him at number 12. He, more than probably anybody on this list, at least in this portion of the list, has a better chance to rise by the end of this upcoming season. I think he's going to be one of the better coaches in this league before his time there is all said and done. It's just going to take a little time. Need to see some results, some production. But right now, we'll keep him down here at number 12. Dave Aranda, number 11. Look, I don't think more highly of anybody defensively in this league than Dave Aranda. The man is brilliant on that side of the ball. He had a really awkward start to his career, I guess. It didn't go so well. Then he wins a Big 12 championship, and now he's on the hot seat. Or not now, I should say. He was on the hot seat, and then he bounces back last year to do more than just save his job, but probably buy him a little extra time as well. Um, he's got a star quarterback with Sawyer Robinson. So I think he's going to be able to build something there in Waco. But right now, there's just not been much there outside of the Big 12 championship year. Yes, last year was promising, but heading into last year, there was a lot of uncertainty about his future. They kind of thought he was a dead man walking, myself included. So now that he's overcome adversity, let's see how he and this program respond now that they have some expectations behind it. Because I wouldn't be surprised that if come next month and the media poll rolls out, they're going to be one of those top teams listed by the media. All right, let's go ahead and get 10 through 6 taken care of here. So we got Willie Fritz at Houston, Lance Leipold. I know this list is about to send some people over the top here. Kenny Dillingham, the reigning Big 12 champion, head coach at Arizona State at number 8. Sonny Dykes at 7 and Kalani Sitake at number 6. If you want me to be truthful here, I think 9 through 6, you can order them however you want, and I really couldn't disagree with you. I had a really hard time trying to separate really 9 through 6 here, whether it's Leipold, then Dillingham, then Dykes, then Sitake, or you want to go the other way around. You want to move one piece or one name here, one name there. I think you could make a case really for any order there, 9 through 6. And I understand Lance Leipold has done an immediately good job at Kansas. And by I mean immediately, I mean like he set the tone there right out of the gate, took them till year 2, but still you could feel a difference even in his first year when they were still losing a bunch of games, that this wasn't the same Kansas that you're accustomed to. And look what he's done. He had them 6-0, had College game day there. They were ranked. They were 6-0 again. They've kind of fell apart. They fizzled out. Last year wasn't really that great. They had high expectations. Obviously, just didn't have enough offensively. And I'm interested to see where this goes, because I really believe Lance Leipold is a very good football coach. But even at Kansas, I can't put him much higher than ninth, because you've got to be able to turn 8, 9-win seasons. And even at Kansas, yes, for me to put you much higher in this list where coaches have either gone to national title games, have won the Big 12, have been on the doorstep of a national title game appearance. So it's hard for me to put you much higher, even at Kansas. The job he's done there has been phenomenal. Can't say enough about it. It's obviously probably the hardest job in all of Power 4 football, and he's done a great job turning that thing around. So although I think the talent coaching-wise is there, I just can't go higher than 9. Kenny Dillingham, like I mentioned with Coach Prime, had a bad year 1, which is to be expected in this era. Had a lot of turnover. Year 2, we saw what happens. Big 12, top of the Big 12, go to the college football playoff. And now it looks like he's really built something there. He's got Sam Levitt back. He's got the receiver Tyson back. They lose Scottaboo, but still, they have a lot of pieces back from that team a year ago. This thing looks like it's only going to get better and stronger. But I'm not necessarily in the world of wanting to just bank my opinion on 1 year and then projections. So while I'm very impressed with Kenny Dillingham so far and believe that he's going to be, it's hard to say that he can't be a top 4 coach in this league in the next handful of years. I've got to see more. I can't just give you all that just off of 1 year. What if he has a Dave Aranda type situation, right? Bad year one, championship year two, year three, major setback. I don't see that happening, but I'm not going to make the same mistake I did with Baylor and Dave Aranda. So Kenny Dillingham, do it again, prove me wrong, or continue to do your thing, and you'll be up higher on this list. Sonny Dykes, why have him higher than Lance Leipold and Kenny Dillingham? Is quite simple. He's been around for a long time. He's got multiple Power Four head coaching job experience at Cal. And at TCU, obviously, year one, he took them to the national championship game. He did really well at SMU. The guy's just an offensive genius. So the fact that he's got that much brilliance on that side of the football in a league that you're going to have to score some points. I know it's different than what it was 10 years ago, but still, you got to be able to score. To have that in his back pocket, he's a really good recruiter. His staffs can recruit well. And the fact that he has had his team in the national championship game, I don't care if he struck lightning in a bottle or not, he's got to be up on this list. So, number 7. Moving into the top 5. Yes, Rich Rodriguez, number 5 on this list. Chris Kleiman, number 4. Matt Campbell, number 3. And then the two guys that have been in it probably the longest and the longest tenured, that is Kyle Whittingham at Utah and Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy. So the reason for Rich Rod, I'll spend a little bit more of time on him, obviously, than the other guys. But look, I think a lot of people, when you ask what their Big 12 head coaching rankings would be, they probably have Rich Rod in the bottom half just because he hasn't been a Power 4 coach in a long time, at least a head coach. And they all kind of remember that experience in Michigan not going so well, and he lost at not lost at Arizona, but he moved on from that opportunity at Arizona. And it's just kind of been a while since he's been in this type of seat. But let's go back to the first opportunity he had, which was, of course, right here in West Virginia. Led them to the best 3-year stretch in program history. I know he wasn't there for the Fiesta Bowl, but he had a major part, obviously, in putting that team together. So you got to give him some credit to winning that game. 33 wins in 3 years, 2 BCS games, one of which he coached and won. The other one was obviously Coach Stu. But that's insane. West Virginia hasn't been back there ever since. They've had moments, whether it was the 2011 season, the 2012 season, the 16 season. You had a little bit, but not really. 2018 with Will Greer and company. They've had their moments throughout a season, but they've never, from start to finish, been a national title contender. So getting him back in the fold, I think, is really going to help out the Mountaineers get back on pace. You look at what he did at Michigan. Look, it was a whole different era back then. You couldn't just snap your fingers and you got the guys you want in there. You had a lot of square peg and round hole situations, not even just Ann Arbor, but at other places as well. And by the time he was let go, it was like he was starting to get the right guys in there. He had Denard Robinson. He had all those other pieces that helped them go on to win 11 games the very next year, the very first year that he was gone. That's not by coincidence. It's not that they won 11 games because he wasn't there. They just needed that one more offseason to get there, to be that type of team. If Rich Rod would have stayed, he would have won 11 games as well. Now, moving to his Arizona experience, some up and down, but still, for Arizona standards, pretty good football. Then he goes to Jack State. We all know the story there. He takes them from FCS up to FBS, wins a Conference USA championship with a massive roster turnover. Same thing he's got here with West Virginia. Just a long history of winning football games at places that are hard to win at, especially at a high level. So for that reason, he's number 5. Back to the list here so you can see the top 4 again: Chris Kleiman, Matt Campbell, Whittingham, and Gundy. And really, I think you could make an argument that Kleiman could be higher than Campbell because he had all the success there at the Division II level, winning 4 national championships. He got Kansas State back on track and seemingly has them in a position to be a Big 12 perennial contender. But look, he's not been at it as long, and this is, again, where the experience or the longevity at that job really kind of comes into play here. Matt Campbell has been at Iowa State for quite a while now, has completely turned them around. And this is kind of where I see Lance Leipold kind of sliding into that mix. If he continues to slowly and steadily build Kansas up, the Jayhawks, Leipold will kind of be in that similar spot that Matt Campbell is in right now, because people forget when Matt Campbell left Toledo to go to Iowa State, they were a mess, man. Like, they were one of the bottom feeders in the Big 12. It was one of those ones on the schedule you could usually just check off as a W. But he turned that thing right around very quickly. Again, similar to Leipold at Kansas. In year one, even when they were still losing, you could see it was a little bit different. And you just knew it was a matter of time before that thing was going to get turned. And he's just slowly but surely got that thing to where they're now a contender in the Big 12 year in and year out. They've had some late season slides, but last year, their best season ever in program history, their first ever 10-plus win season by winning 11 games. They got their quarterback back, which West Virginia fans know all too much about, Rocco Becht. So seems like Matt Campbell is putting himself in a really good spot there in Ames. And listen, folks, there's a reason why NFL teams have been sniffing around that program for quite some time. He's a good ball coach. And then the top two guys, look, I understand Kyle Whittingham, Mike Gundy, they didn't have great years last year, but this is not a ranking based off of what happened last year. It's not a ranking based off of what's going to happen in 2025 or projecting about how good their teams are going to be this fall. Again, this is all about the entire sample size, what their resume says, and these two guys' resumes, they're right there at the top. They've been at it for a long time. They've been consistent winners. They've been at the top of their leagues year in and year out and have overachieved, I would say, for the most part. Oklahoma State, really shouldn't have been a top 2, top 3, top 4 team in the Big 12 for as many years as they have been. And now with Oklahoma and Texas gone, you would assume that they're going to be one of, even after the horrendous year a year ago, they're going to be one of those teams every year where you can count on them being there up at the top. And for Utah, look, man, again, another team, another coach that made the jump. A lot of people forget that they were in the Mountain West when he first started as the head coach there. Took them to the Pac-12, and just like that, they were competitive. They got to win a lot of ball games there. They won some Pac-12 championships, got to the Pac-12 championship numerous times. It was a seamless transition for them to go from Mountain West to the Pac-12. Didn't have a great year last year in the Big 12, but they're going to be back. They're going to be fine. And who knows, maybe they'll be fighting for a spot in Dallas later this season. So that is my ranking of the of all 16 Big 12 coaches. If you want to go read about it more, I have an article up on our site at West Virginia on SI. Again, make sure you understand the rules here. It's not where coaches have been the last year, the season they're coming off of. It's not a stock watch and up and down thing. It's not projections. It's the entire career that they've had, more so for the guys at the FBS level, not what they did at the FCS, although that does play a factor a little bit, but not quite as much. So go check that out, West Virginia on SI. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Between Eers. I'm Schuyler Callihan, and we'll be back here tomorrow on BTE.